Peace. Disagreeable Larry, aka Professor Bingle Wingle, and Brother Sutek is at it again. Brother Sutek and Professor Bingle Wingle, yo man, they be battling for the hearts and minds of the people, dropping this knowledge. They do it all in love and fun. Check it out, family.
In honor of defeating Hannibal in 202 BC in a town called Zama in the province of Africa, they surnamed Publius Scipio Cornelius.
So was everybody on that
Africanus.
continent African?
No, once again.
There you go then, cuz.
Once again,
don't tell me
everybody on the
there
continent
was
is not
a
African
province
now.
called Africa,
But
so therefore there was
But
an Africa.
everybody on the continent is not African now. The Berbers. When you look, how can you look at a Berber?
Everybody on the continent
How can
is
you
not
look?
African?
How can you look at a Berber? How can you look at a Berber, right, who is white, okay, and to all appearances European, and then look at somebody from say Zimbabwe who is black, and to all appearances like us, and say they're the same people?
Let me ask you this. Is a Puerto Rican an American? Are you an American?
No.
Fuck out.
Is a Puerto Rican American?
Come on, man. Come on.
You want the technical answer or you want his emotional answer?
No.
His emotional-
No.
Right now, it's emotional.
It's not emotional, dude.
Sure it is.
You telling me about a Berber and a Zimbabwean. When you go to South Africa, those white people in South Africa call themselves what?
Afrikaans.
I don't give a fuck what they say. They African.
No.
They call themselves
No.
African.
No, they don't. They call themselves. No, they do not.
African.
No, they
it's
do
all
not.
how you
So
pronounce
what do they call themselves, Larry?
Come on.
Afrikaans. They make
Come
a
on.
look.
Come on.
In South Africa, right?
Come on.
The distinctions that they make there.
Why you trying to split
In
hairs
South
on some
Africa,
bullshit?
the
Huh?
distinctions that they make there
Why
are
you splitting hairs on
four.
some
They make
bullshit?
four distinctions there. They distinct Africans, and those would be the blacks. They distinct Indians, those would be the ones who migrated. They distinct coloreds, those would be the ones who are mixed. And they distinct the Europeans, who they call Afrikaans. And they are four different distinct, they all live in Africa, they all live in South Africa, and they all consider themselves different.
So to me, here in America, they all Africans.
Okay.
Alright? You dig it?
Okay, but I don't have a problem with that.
So when I say a Puerto Rican, a Chinese person born here, an Arab born here, they all Americans. And they all look different. So to go back to your shit is, how do I look at a Berber and then look at a Zimbabwean and say they African? They all born there on that continent, they African.
So let me ask you this, Sutek. You was born here.
Right.
Are you an American?
Yes.
Come at me.
Hold up, man.
No, come at me with this, man.
Sutek.
Come at me with
The
this, man.
YouTubers is gonna get at
What
you
the
for
fuck what
this.
the YouTubers do?
Listen, it don't matter where you're born at. You know your roots go all the way back to Africa.
Check this out. Oh, well, if we go back to where our roots are, then hold on. Then every European, then every Asian, then every Chinese
Okay, let me
person,
finish.
They all African.
Let me finish.
Because you say,
No.
if the first man
Hold
is from
on.
Africa, and I done heard all of y'all say that they all
Never
are
heard me say
children.
that. You have never heard me say that.
Hold on.
Then fine.
Hold on.
Then get out of this.
Sutek.
Yeah,
Your mother takes a trip over to China.
right,
She's 8 months pregnant.
right,
She have you over in China.
Right.
You are born in China.
right. Does that make me Chinese?
Does that make you Chinese now?
No. See what you say. See, there's a difference now.
How?
Listen.
Yeah.
Let me say this, right? Is my heritage African? Yeah, my heritage is African. My
Right.
ancestors are African.
Right.
My bloodline, my lineage.
So what makes you an American?
Is African, right?
So what makes you an American?
By choice. My choice. My choice to call myself an American.
Okay.
I'm an American.
Okay, all
You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
All
But
right.
now, what you got to understand too. What you got to
You want me to
understand.
back up?
What you got to understand too is that you have America and you have the United States of America. People from Canada, they Americans. People from Mexico, they Americans. What you are is a citizen of the United States. So, there you go.
Brothers be romanticizing about Africa, man. And when they romanticize about Africa, they somehow magically see themselves in it.
So let me ask you
with
this, brother.
flowing robes as kings and queens and
Brother
shit,
Professor, do you agree with Sutek that he's an American? Oh, do you agree with his logic or his reason why he's an American?
Hey, yes, I agree that Sutek is an American. And I further would like to emphasize that I'm not. Right?
So Sutek, I think you're gonna get the backlash.
No.
You're gonna get the YouTube whipping on this one.
That's okay. That's okay.
But no, Sinetta.
I'm an American.
Let me do this. Let me do this, right? Let me do this, right? Here's what I go through with people almost daily. Where I live at, there's a lot of people who come from different places in the world. And they constantly refer to me as American, right? And I constantly tell them that the only time I'm an American is when I'm talking to someone who thinks that they're not, right? No one that I've ever grown up with accused me of being American before. That only happens to people who come here from other countries, right? Because they get propagandized in a different way, okay? They get the American propaganda in different countries. We don't necessarily get the American propaganda. We get the nightmare part of the dream here, okay? So when we say American, you will note that that tends to be blacks who we would otherwise call official blacks. Blacks in the establishment, blacks, you understand? But as far as being American, right? Remember, we had to fight for the right to vote here. We had to fight for decent housing. We had to fight to get a job. We have to fight.
Now you're confusing something.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
What am I confusing?
You're confusing being an American with being a citizen of the United States.
Now,
that's two entirely different things.
Here's the reason
that's
why.
Two entirely
Let me say
things.
this.
Go ahead.
Here's the reason why I'm not confusing the two. Right?
Yeah, yes, you are. Because all those rights and all of that shit, that's your rights as a citizen.
Let me say this.
That's your rights as a citizen.
Can I say what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. Now, the propaganda is why I made a distinction. The propaganda that goes out from this country to other countries is that everything you just said as far as citizens' rights and civil rights, the propaganda that goes out is that that's what you get as an American.
No, that's not what you get as an American.
That's the propaganda.
No, that's what you think it is.
No, I'm not thinking this.
No, yes it is.
No.
Yo, check this out. What you think and what is can in most instances be two entirely different things.
Okay, well let me say this.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you recall, Sinetta, when we had a conversation and I told you that there's a new group called Hispanics that they're trying to manipulate politically in the media, and I told you that Latino and Hispanic is sometimes used interchangeably, but it's not. Right? That Latino means people who speak Spanish because Spanish is a Latin language, right? But they use it to refer to the culture, Latin culture, right? That has nothing to do with Latin.
Let me ask you this: is a Canadian an American? What do you mean? What do you mean? Is a Canadian American?
Now, listen. Once again.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
Is a Mexican an American?
Here's the reason.
Answer the question.
I'm gonna answer the question my way.
Is it?
I'm going to answer the question.
It's yes or no, Larry.
No, it's not yes or no.
It's
not yes or no. It's not a yes or no question.
Wait a minute. Because this country, the country that you in, is not America.
I know what the name of the country is.
The country is not America.
Wait a minute. The political ideology of this country is American.
No.
The propaganda, the propaganda.
There is no political ideology of an American.
Oh, you gotta be crazy. Huh? The propaganda that goes out from this country to the world.
No, that's from ignorant people.
Listen,
that's from ignorant people.
So you telling me the people who are running this country is ignorant?
No, I'm telling you.
Because these are the ones who do it.
No, they don't. They don't say America.
Every day
they say United
States. One at a time, man.
They say United States of America. That is entirely different from America. If you from Brazil, you are an American. If you from Panama, you are an American. If you from Mexico, you are an American. If you from Canada, you are an American. It's the continent is America, not the country. Fuck out of here.
All right, Mr.
So then why is it United States?
If you be quiet for it,
I'm asking you a question.
Right.
Why is United States of America?
I'm gonna answer you if you be quiet.
Crud you.
If you be you fucking asshole, Sutek.
I know I am.
Chill, man.
I know I am.
Now, what I'm saying is this. me a name, I'll call you one back. What you say is this, right? Look.
I'm an arrogant asshole sometimes.
What it is, but you're also incorrect. What it is
Now you
this,
talk
right?
about homeboy getting like a child. Come on,
no,
man.
listen, he
You
just
call me a name, I call you one back.
Call me a crud. I'll call him a name right back. He's an asshole. Now, consider this, right? Politically, the propaganda that goes forth from this country.
What the fuck with the propaganda? Deal with what is.
Politically,
let him deal with
politically,
hold on,
politically,
let him deal with it.
Politically, the propaganda that goes forth from this country, the propaganda that goes around in this country is American propaganda. This is how they present it. Now, they present themselves as American. They present this country as America. Now, I understand that the continent is called North America and the continent is called South America, and technically anybody who lives on any part of either one can be called American, but politically, and that is what's dominating those goddamn airwaves, that television, those news reports that go out to the world. They call this place America, and they call the people who live here American. I know that the name of the country is the United States of America. I have made this point on countless occasions that no, I'm not American, and the reason I'm not American is because even the name of the country is not America. But propaganda is what they use. Here they call it public relations.
Okay, so
and it is what they use to project their image around the world, and it is an American image that they project.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You use the word propaganda.
Don't cut him off, Larry.
The word propaganda, to me, means that it's information that's not necessarily true. So, what you saying is that because this Caucasian lies, we need to follow the lie. If he's using propaganda to promote his cause, then we gotta fall in line with the propaganda instead of dealing with what actually is. I'm talking about what actually is, and you want to tell me about some Caucasian's lie or how he promotes himself, and then I gotta fall in with. That's what you just
You're
said.
not telling me about what actually is, Sutek, because,
yes, I am.
Because number one,
I'm telling you the country is not America.
Sutek, you do not control the projected image of this country.
I don't care what the projected image is.
Of course
the
you can.
projected image is a lie.
It's
a lie, though.
But this is what we're talking about.
Say it's a lie.
No. The reason I won't
So
Larry,
the projection of this image, is it a lie?
Listen.
Or is it the truth?
Then it's not propaganda.
Once again.
If it's not a lie, then it's not propaganda.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Because is true.
What is true? Perception is true.
Perception ain't true.
Right now.
Perception is not true, Larry.
Okay.
If I look at this phone
Let me
like
ask you
this,
a question.
the perception
Let me
is the
ask you a
shit is
question.
a
Let me ask you
quarter of
a
an inch.
question. Why?
If I look at it like this, then the perception is it's 3 inches wide. Perception is not true.
Why do you perceive the necessity to yell at the top of your lungs right now?
Because I'm tired of hearing your bullshit.
Okay, so now this is my being tired of hearing your bullshit.
All right, go ahead.
Check this out. When you look, right, at say the way the media is discussing politics today, and they use a term like Hispanics, right?
You say that. I don't say that.
Sanetta. And they use a term like Hispanics, right? And they'll say the Republicans are losing the Hispanic vote, right? And they have to do more to court the Hispanic vote, right? To whom do you think they're referring that Hispanic? Are they referring that to Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Colombians, Cubans, Venezuelans?
All of them.
You understand?
All of them.
Now, you understand, as I understand, that those people don't necessarily identify with each other, right? That as far as they're concerned, they're totally different people.
Are they Americans,
But
Larry?
how do you mean the question? Are they Americans?
Yes.
Or are they Americans?
Are they Americans, the people you just named? The Mexicans, the Spanish.
How do you mean that?
Oh my God.
Do you mean that? Look, because look, let me show you. Let me show you what I mean, Sanetta. See, because I could be a smug little asshole and say,
maybe you could.
Look, I could be a smug little asshole and say, yes, they're Americans, right? When I know goddamn well they're not Americans. Because if they were Americans, they wouldn't be building a fucking fence to catch their ass when they come to America.